Just over 5 years ago, I made a video showcasing the best money-making methods for every skill in RuneScape 3. Since then, a lot has changed. New content and moneymakers have been added, and other methods have become completely irrelevant. So let's look at some of the best money-making methods for every skill in the game in 2026. Starting at the top, bossing is the best moneymaker in the game, and it trains all the combat skills plus Slayer. You can train Slayer through bossing by getting a Reaper task through death. You'll have a chance to pick your own boss for your Reaper assignment depending on what tier of combat mastery you have completed, and this increases to a 100% chance at the tier 4 mastery. There are also certain tasks that you can get from Slayer masters which count towards bossing, and you can even get a Reaper assignment and regular Slayer assignment to stack the Slayer XP. Bossing is the best GP per hour in the game, with usually the newer bosses being the best. Right now, Masket is the best moneymaker in the game, especially at higher enrages, where you can vary between 70 mil per hour and 200 mil, depending on the enrage. Vorkath is another boss where some of the best PVMers in the game can defeat this boss in under a minute 30 with the Vorkath flight skip. It is extremely hard to do and is a Grandmaster achievement, so something I unfortunately can't do, but credit to Wings of Absurdity who was willing to share their clip of getting this speed kill. Other bosses like High Enraged Telos and Zamrock are also really good GP per hour, and my personal favorite right now is Hard Mode Suck, where with my kill times of around 17 and 18 minutes per kill, I'm able to get around 150 million GP per hour right now, with the price of the Zuck swords being fairly expensive. So just find a boss that you enjoy and you're willing to learn, and you can get yourself a pretty good moneymaker while training any combat style that you want, and Slayer with Reaper tasks and sometimes some regular Slayer tasks as well. Vires is one of the most insane methods in RuneScape for training skills and also making money. You can earn around 5 million GP per hour, and it is by far the best money-making method for prayer, since most methods often cost you money. You can see the XP rates for various different skills are absolutely insane, over 500,000 combat XP per hour, over 400,000 prayer XP, 300,000 firemaking XP, and if you have the seed aside, you can gain around 150,000 farming XP per hour as well. Vires have many requirements to fully take advantage of the method. To unlock Vires, you'll need to complete the Lord of Vampirium quest. Then there's the Mauritania achievements. Completing the elite achievements give you the Mauritania Legs 4, which give you a 50% XP boost to prayer XP when killing Vires. The achievement Ivan is Flailing, which you complete by burning 500 fire corpses. This achievement is extremely important because it does increase the damage of the Sun Spear against Vires and gives it a prayer restoration bonus, allowing this to be a completely AFK method. Having some form of heal like Soul Split or Eclipse Soul, or sometimes even Necromancy and the Ghost and Blood Siphon is necessary to make this fully sustainable and completely AFK. Unfortunately, Vires is a heavily contested location, so you'll need to hop to a lot of worlds before you find an empty one. But once you find one, you can just camp here for 15 minutes, picking up some drops, alking any split bark gear that you get. Having the scavenging perk on any armor will get you a bunch of passive invention components as well. So this is a really great method to train a ton of skills, but it is the best GP per hour you can get while also training prayer. While Vires are a legitimate way to train farming fairly actively, herb runs are also a really good moneymaker for farming. For herb runs, to make them as profitable as possible, you'll want to get the plant power tier 4 in the Shop of Balance, so you can plant 10 seeds for a higher yield. Bountiful Harvest 2 is also really important, gives you a 7% chance to gain an additional herb every time you harvest. And Speedy Growth speeds up the time it takes for your herbs to grow by 20 minutes. There are a total of 9 herb patches across the game, with 4 of them being locked behind a quest, some fairly early game quests, and some maybe more mid to end game quests. But you can make around 150k per herb run, With all the best unlocks in the shop that we discussed earlier, you can get around 163k with Dwarf Weed right now, but if you do have a lower farming level, you can even use Herlander at level 26 farming for some pretty good profit per run. It only takes a few minutes, so this is effectively around 13 or 14 million GP per hour. Runecrafting is one of the most profitable skills in the game. The most profitable runecrafting method right now is crafting bone runes, which can make you around 45 million GP per hour. To get the best runecrafting multiplier, you will want 92 runecrafting. All the other runecrafting items are also helpful, like the Ring of Imbuing, Infinity Ethereal Outfit, the Crystal Binding Rod with polishing, and any rune pouches that you have. The method is pretty simple. You want to use the passing bracelet to teleport to the haunt on the hill, then enter the portal and go to the bone altar. Whenever the power burst of sorcery is not on cooldown, you'll want to use it for double the runes, teleport back to the smithy, use the bank, and rinse and repeat. This method is really good because it not only earns you around 45 million GP per hour, but also around 500,000 runecrafting XP per hour as well. Construction traditionally isn't a good moneymaker at all, but in recent years with the addition of Fort 4 and 3, we now have a fairly decent moneymaker with construction, and that is making magic frames. This method can make you around 8 million GP per hour and earn you around 100,000 construction XP per hour, but it does require level 80 construction. Making magical frames is quite simple. You need 4 magic planks to create 1 refined magic plank, and then you'll need 3 of those to create a magic frame. So essentially you're going to be turning 12 magic planks, which will cost around 24k, into 1 magic frame costing around 77k. Obviously the prices of these items fluctuate, but I would imagine magic frames will always be in demand since it does give you a great AFK training method for construction later on. So the method is quite straightforward. Just start making the magical frames at Fort 4 and 3, and then you can sell them on the G for some pretty good profit. Dungeoneering only has one real money-making method, and that is doing elite dungeons. You can also gain around 150,000 Dungeoneering XP per hour doing these, so it is a fairly decent training method as well. You can choose between 3 elite dungeons. Elite Dungeon 1, you get consistent money through the Ancient Scales. Elite Dungeon 2, you're hunting for the Codex drops for melee, which sell for a few hundred mil. And then ED3, you're going for the final boss, trying to get an Eldritch crossbow piece worth a few hundred mil. All 3 dungeons have dropped in GP per hour over the last year, but they're still all around 20 to maybe 30 mil per hour. Croesus is a group skilling boss where you need 2 to 4 players to defeat the boss with you. There are 4 different skilling nodes, so you can use woodcutting, mining, fishing, or hunter when defeating Croesus. This is by far the best money-making method for all 4 skills, especially woodcutting, mining, and fishing, as you can make around 40 mil per hour doing Croesus. Hunter does have a close second, being Big Game Hunter 1 and 2, but it still doesn't top the 40 mil from Croesus. Croesus can be done at very low stats, however it is recommended to have level 80s to complete it. It is a pretty easy boss to learn, and so if you are looking to make 40 mil per hour and train up all of those 4 skills, then it's definitely worth trying out a learner group and learning the boss. The Gate of Elidness is RuneScape 3's second skilling boss. You can train 3 different skills, being mining, divination, and agility. And the XP rates are pretty decent, especially for more mid-level accounts. The divination XP is the one that is most notable since it is actually very competitive compared to normal divination training. The gate does have some steep requirements, with the Ode to the Devourer quest being required to unlock the boss, which ultimately means you need level 86 Archaeology, which is a fairly high requirement. You can expect to earn around 40 million GP per hour from this boss, however you're really banking on some of the more rare drops. Like Croesus, the gate is fairly simple, where you need to cleanse these different crystals, then you mine them, and then you click the special action button to climb up the pillars and throw them at Elidness. You can complete each kill in around 3 or 4 minutes, and you're really banking on getting one of the big rare drops, especially the Memory Dowser, worth over 600 mil. Archaeology's best moneymaker is the Sift Soil spell. You can turn ancient gravel or any soil from dig sites into archaeology materials and then sell it for profit, making around 10 to 13 mil GP per hour. On top of this, you also get 100,000 archaeology XP per hour and about 465,000 magic XP per hour. The only hard requirement is lunar diplomacy for the Sift Soil spell and level 91 magic to cast it, which could be boosted. Also, if you do have 99 archaeology in the master archaeologist outfit, it will speed up this action by 1 tick, which will obviously boost your GP per hour. If you don't have this, you wouldn't be able to get the 13 million GP per hour. Heists is a newer addition to RuneScape 3, and it is unlocked in the late game of your Thieving training. There are 2 different heists, being the Vault of Herblore, which is unlocked at level 95 Thieving, and then there's the Asoran Arsenal, unlocked at 108 Thieving. You can make really good GP and XP from these methods. You can make 45 million per hour at the Vault of Herblore and 60 million at the Asoran Arsenal. And with the XP, it's about 1.5 million XP per hour at the Vault of Herblore and about 2.25 million at the Asoran Arsenal. Firemaking doesn't have too many money makers. We did see one earlier with the Vire method where you could make 5 mil per hour and earn 300,000 firemaking XP, but this method is crafting a dinosaur propellant. It does require level 95 firemaking and the extinction quest to be completed, and you can make around 13 million GP per hour, while also earning 660,000 firemaking XP per hour. The method is pretty simple. You go to the storm barn, you get some dinosaurs, and then you go to all of the 4 feeding pens. Once you've fed all the dinosaurs with all 4 troughs, you can then convert the fertilizer into propellant. For Herblore, the best method does change fairly often, but right now it's making super Cerdoman brews. You can make around 20 million GP per hour and 500,000 Herblore XP per hour doing this method. It does require level 93 Herblore, plus you'll want a lot of different items to improve your chances of making extra potions and saving ingredients. So what I have here that is really important is the modified botanist mask. It gives you a 5% chance to duplicate the potion, which is going to be a 40k potion. There's Brooch of the Gods, which will double the effectiveness of the portable wells, which is an MTX item. It will disappear next year. Then there's also the Botanist Amulet. It does give you a 5% chance to create a 4-dose instead of a 3-dose. And of course, you will want to be doing this on portable wells. Having things like the Scroll of Cleansing is also really important. It can help save some ingredients. And these Wine of Cerdoman are very expensive, 35k, so when that procs, which is a 10% chance, that will save quite a bit of money. One item I don't have is the factory outfit, which would be really helpful. It gives you an extra chance to create a 4-dose potion instead of a 3-dose, but I don't like mini games, so we don't have that, and I don't expect many people do, maybe aside from some Iron Men. When testing this method, I was able to make about 19.7 million GP per hour without the factory outfit, so it still is really good GP per hour. It's just that you could get a little bit more if you have it. Next up, we have crafting, and it's creating decorated urns. This method requires the Lunar Diplomacy quest to be completed, so you will unlock the Fire Urn spell. You can make around 13 million GP per hour from this method, and you'll gain around 250,000 crafting XP as well as 160,000 magic XP. The method is quite simple. You want to get a preset filled with soft clay, and then have an elemental battle staff and some astral runes ready to go. And aside from that, if you have the crafting outfit for some more XP, you can wear that. I have my Silverhawk boots for a little bit of agility XP. Brooch of the Gods can be helpful. It can save some soft clay if you are using the portable crafters. So method is very simple. You want to load the preset and then craft. We're going to be forming clay into decorated urns. Right now, the woodcutting urn seems to be the best GP. And then it'll take 15 or 16 seconds to go through that. Once you've made all the urns, you can then cast your Fire Urn spell and then rinse and repeat. You can see that if you are using the portable crafter, you will actually get extra urns, even though you're using the fire urn spell right after you use the portable crafter. So every inventory, you are making some pretty decent profit. As you can see, these urns do sell for quite a bit, 10k each, and the inventory of clay is very cheap, 32k. So yeah, like I said, about 13 million GP per hour and some pretty decent crafting XP. Fletching is another moneymaker where it doesn't have a great method, but the best method right now is creating Ascendry bolts, which will make you around 9 million GP per hour, and you can also earn around 200,000 Fletching XP per hour as well. Nice part with this method is it is fairly AFK. You get a minute and a half of AFK time, so that is a nice bonus for this method, but the requirements are fairly high. First off, you'll need level 80 Fletching to take part in the method. If you do have 99, you'll want to make sure you wear your Fletching cape for a chance at creating extra arrows. And you'll want the Ranger's Workroom Tier 2. It allows you to save some materials and have a chance at creating extra bolts, which is really helpful because this method, you're going to need all of those procs. So we are back in Fort 4 and 3 again for Fletching, and Fletching Ascendry bolts is going to be the method. Now again, this is actually really important to do on a portable Fletcher, because if you're not, you're actually going to be losing money. The portable Fletcher gives you a 10% chance to save resources, and if you have the Brooch of the Gods, that doubles the chance, so Brooch of the Gods is essentially necessary as well. It's a very simple method. You will be creating ammo, so we will configure this to be ammo. That way we can just click on it. And it's actually a nice method. It's very AFK. So you can see you got a minute and a half of AFK time, and you're really losing money every time unless you save resources. So you're really looking for the portable Fletcher saving resources, Brooch of the Gods procced that time. Every once in a while, if you have the Fletching cape, you'll create extra materials. Ranger's Workroom will also do that. So overall, this method, it is a little risky actually, because you are relying on these procs, but if you do it long enough, you can expect to earn around that 9 million GP per hour, and of course make that 200,000 Fletching XP per hour as well. Smelting bars is probably the best smithing moneymaker in the game. The XP per hour usually isn't that great. It can range from maybe 50k per hour if you're doing something like Necronium bars to maybe 100,000 if you're doing Primal bars. There are a lot of requirements to optimize this method, but really you're only going to be making around 8 or 9 million GP per hour. Some of the requirements for this method: for the Necronium bar, really you're going to want to make sure you have the chance to smelt the extra bar. So in this case, Necronium, it's level 74, gives you a 10% chance to smelt an additional bar, and that's where you're going to be making a lot of this profit. Some of the other requirements, if you're going to optimize this method, you will want the Superheat Form Curse, which needs level 91 Prayer, as well as the Light Within quest. You'll want to have the Family Crest quest completed for the Smelting Gauntlets. Blacksmith Gloves actually count as the Smelting Gauntlets. It just makes the method more AFK, which is really nice. Some more requirements is either the Grace of the Elves upgrade, or if you have an Orthan Furnace Core, it makes the method more AFK, because now when you use Superheat Form, you don't lose any prayer points. If you don't have this, that's completely fine. You'll just need to bring some prayer potions or prayer renewals, something like that, to keep your prayer points up. After that, some other things that are really helpful: modified blacksmith helmet. It does give you a small chance at smelting an extra bar. And if you do have the fortune perk on a crystal hammer, that does give you a small percentage chance to create an extra bar, but obviously isn't really necessary. So with that said, the method's very simple. We will deposit our Necrite and Phasmatite ore into the furnace, and we'll just start making some Necronium bars. And About 1 in every 10 times, you'll get this notification saying you make 1 extra bar, and that's where you're going to be making a lot of the profit. So this method is around 8 mil GP per hour right now, very AFK as you can tell, and you'll get around 50,000 smithing XP per hour. For cooking, I have a really strange money-making method, one that I've never heard about before, and it's making great gunkin. To make this food, you will have to unlock the sushi perk in the aquarium in the player-owned house, but it is actually a really good healing item. It will heal you for 1500 life points, and then continue to heal you for 150 life points for the next 10.8 seconds, for a total of 2,850 life points healed. The item sells for around 9,000 coins right now, and the ingredients are very cheap. You just need raw great white shark and kelp, and you can prepare them together, and this nets you around 4 or 5k profit depending on the prices. Right now you can make 12 million GP per hour doing this method, and the XP per hour is also very good at around 450k per hour. When testing this money-making method out, I noticed that a lot of the ingredients were selling below the listed price, so it is a pretty good moneymaker right now, but obviously should check the prices before actually doing the method. And finally, we have the last skill, summoning. Summoning has a really good money-making method, and that is making Ripper Demon binding contracts. It has 2 steps. This method is really good GP per hour at around 40 mil per hour. You'll also get 60,000 summoning XP per hour and over 1.3 million combat XP per hour. So the first step for this method is getting binding contracts. You can either make them yourself or spend hours AFKing the archaeology professors and get them passively that way. The preset I use looks like this. I am using 3 pieces of Crypt Bloom, which does give me the ability to use Animate Dead for some extra protection, and I am using Necromancy. So I'm using the Death Warden robe top and bottom, along with the tier 95 Necro weapons. I do use the Blood Amulet of Fury for a little bit of extra passive healing, and the Scripture of Wen is really good since the Ripper Demons are going to stack on top of each other. And I like bringing the Ring of Death because this is a very dangerous method and it's very easy to get killed. Even if an elite Ripper Demon spawns, you're going to be taking extra damage, so I like having the Ring of Death just so I don't have to pay a bunch of death costs just in case I die. For the setup, bringing some overloads, I got some pouches for Animate Dead, Penance Powder. This keeps you on full prayer because you are taking so much damage. So that's all you need to make this method last and be fully sustainable for prayer. You got the Spring Cleaner, the Enhanced Excalibur, and Elven Ritual Shard. There is the Dwarven Siege Cannon, so you are going to be using a cannon. Having the auto restocking perk is really helpful to make it more AFK, and just some cannonballs, some emergency food, and a brew. You're going to be using weapon poison. You could bring Cinderbanes, that would give you better damage, but I like playing a little safe and just running Crypt Bloom gloves, and then some Quarm incense sticks for some increased poison damage, and then bring some magic notepaper to note the Ripper Demon binding contracts as you kill the Ripper Demons. For the perk setup, I would say the most important perks to have would be maybe Aftershock, since it does deal area effect damage, and having something like Enhanced Devoted would be quite helpful. If you're using Necromancy, using Equilibrium obviously is extremely powerful on Necromancy, so those few perks would be great. So we will be fighting the Ripper Demons in the wilderness just north of the lava maze on the eastern side. So when you go in, protect, melee, and you're going to want to place the cannon right around here and then just quickly fire it. And then you want to stand near these little red bubble type things, because on this tile all the Ripper Demons group into one specific spot. And then using a Revolution action bar like the one I have, you're going to be using a lot of Soul Strikes, which is going to stun them, and avoid the Ripper Demon insta-kill mechanic. So the main thing with this method is just making sure all your boosts are active, so make sure Animate Dead is always on and you're always overloaded, having prayer points, And then you're just going to constantly note the Ripper Demon pouches. You can see they come in very fast, and you might even want to make more inventory room. So it's a very active method, even though the combat part is actually a little bit AFK. You're going to want to pay a lot of attention and note those Ripper Demon pouches quite often. And with that, those are the best money-making methods for every skill in RuneScape 3. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more RuneScape 3 content.